Hey everybody, it's Patrick Escolas with another Banyan Technologies Tire Tracks podcast here at Connect 24 in downtown tropical Cleveland. Hey, and I've got Tony Sneed and Chad Garland of TMCO with me today. How you doing?
Doing great.
Good.
And Tony, you're the managing partner, and Chad, you're the director of logistics?
Correct.
All right, so first question, I see TMCO on that shirt and Sneed Supply Chain Solutions on that. What's up with that?
Well,
Which is real?
Well,
Neither.
neither. That's right. That's exactly right. No, we're actually rebranding the company, and it's three different companies in one. And
Okay.
we've got TMCO, Transportation Management Co-op, and that's our LTL arm where we manage. We have a TMS system with a company called Banyan. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know them.
I've heard them. They're pretty awesome.
Okay, and
Great account managers.
then we have 440 Transit, which is our brokerage division.
Okay.
And then we also have Sneed Logistics Incorporated, which is our warehousing and assets.
Awesome.
And then we also have our procurement and sourcing division of Sneed that is kind of new to the company.
All right.
That we actually go out and source and procure materials for customers and actually do the logistics and the warehousing on.
And what don't you guys do?
And well, actually, we just bought another little small expedite company.
All right.
So
there you go.
called O-Town Express, which has been around for 30 years, and so we have assets in that as well.
That's awesome. Now, is that something that came about from something that you saw as an opportunity, or there were clients that had a gap? How did it come about to kind of diversify or bring all of those companies in as one?
It's a combination of everything. I mean, you've got some of it is need. It's always about, customer needs and wants, but a lot of it's about people also. So, you bring people in like Chad and Mike DeBose that's over our warehousing, Todd Timmons that was, in manufacturing for 32 years. And, they bring ideas and they bring things that's such a value add, not only from the warehousing and logistics side, but just like on the procurement side. There was such a big opportunity there that it made sense. So a lot of things I do and a lot of things I'll take a look at, it's just, does it make sense? And does it tie in? Is it a value add to our customers? You're always looking for that value add no matter what.
And is this something where each division is looking at different prospects, or you're coming to somebody with all of it in one suitcase?
I think it depends on the customer.
Okay.
A lot of times you'll go in and see what the needs are. We've got it to present to all customers, but a lot of times, it just doesn't make sense. We made a call this morning actually here in Cleveland, and we wasn't selling them on procurement. We wasn't selling them on the warehousing portion.
Right.
It wasn't a need there.
And you're not gonna fit a square peg into a circle hole,
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. But we found out what the needs were, and we go through what we do, how we do things, and that's basically what we do.
And you guys have been doing this a while. Is this something that you've seen happen to other like providers, or is this something a little unique within the TMCO or the family of companies that now falls under?
I don't think I've seen anybody that does what we do and how we do things.
Well, there you go.
But we got such everything I do is about, people and who we have working here and, what are some of their strengths and some of their attributes that they bring to the company, and we'll go with it. I mean, it just, like I said, it just has to make sense to us. But, there was no set vision. There's always vision as far as what's next step.
Sure.
You're always looking to a turn right, do a turn left. Mm-hmm. And so, you're always making that decision on what makes sense. There's a lot of things we haven't done that just didn't make sense to our company. So you look at what we do, how we do things, you're always looking to get better. And I always use this example. We started truckload many years ago. We got really good at truckload 2 or 3 years ago. And a lot of that was when Chad came on board and bringing some of his thoughts and some of his people.
Chad, the truckload whisperer.
Chad, he's the whisperer. But you're always looking to get better at what you do, and then all the new things that come along are those things that what does make sense and what ties in to what we currently do.
And speaking of tying in, and obviously a completely unbiased question, how does technology help when you're doing so many diverse different things?
Well, technology is becoming more and more of an asked question when you go into even our current customers.
Yeah.
A lot of our current customers we've been with literally 20 years. And so, but we're a little different in what we do things. We're part of our company's, not only their logistics, but, I'm in production meetings. I'm in budget meetings. I mean, anything you can think of, because logistics and shipping and those costs are such an important part of that now. And the question we get asked now is, how can we see this? Or, what is the new things? And, some of the new things that Banyan's came out with, as far as the track trace, the visibility portion of it, that's all critical. And especially, and it depends on the customer too. We do a lot of pharma and we do a lot of automotive. Well, everything is so critical as far as timing on that. And the more visibility you got, the better for, especially with our customers. So,
and you say that it's the people, and a lot of the trends, or the common thread is always that within the freight and logistics industry, that's relationship. How do you best position yourselves as these consigliaries that are invited to these internal meetings, with your clients and customers, to get your advice or what you think would be, where does that come from, that trust?
Well, it's the transparency. I mean, that's from day one. We are always transparent, good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah.
As far as, what happens, what we can do, and then what's going on. And a lot of this is knowing what's going on in the industry.
Okay.
And being proactive, with our customers. Andy Ferran's with us this week, and, he's really been working on the density factor and, what's coming up with it. And we're telling that story to our customers. And, we're getting out in front of these things.
Yeah, that's a hot one.
And we do a lot of that, even from the truckload side, even from the warehousing side. We're getting in front of that and letting people know, here's what we see. Here's what's coming up. Here's some of the adjustments we might need to make. And so, it's not being hit with it after the fact next May. Mm-hmm. It's being proactive and saying, look at what's coming. Here's some of the things that we're going to do to resolve it. Yeah. And things that we're going to do now to help in that situation.
And what's the best way that you put yourselves in a position to be ahead of those? How do you, because it's really easy to fall behind pretty quickly. Is that just keeping your finger to the pulse? How does that work?
Well, you're always looking for ways, the resolution.
Okay.
So you're always looking to, can I offset that by changing your pricing program? Can I offset that by, looking at your lanes, changing the product mix, changing your packaging needs, how you package? There's a lot of different ways that, once you see what the problem is, then you go and, okay, what are some of the resolutions to this? And you start that process of talking to them.
That sounds like a lot of process disruption or, change management. Is that a struggle when you come to your clients and say, hey, I'm looking at some of the things you've come to me and you need to change what you're doing drastically?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it can be. It depends on the customer. Some are more apt to make changes than others.
Right.
And so your packaging, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so, as far as a lot of them procure,
got a lot of infrastructure around that. Yeah.
There's a lot of different levels to that depending on the customer, and some like change more than others, or are adaptable to change more than others. So, it depends on the customer on that.
So, you've already kind of well diversified, kind of given a suite of services. What, where do you go from here? Is it figure out how this works a little longer, or is there other opportunities to expand with out there in the market?
Yeah, we're going to start buying airplanes next and chartering flights. So I hadn't told everybody that.
Yeah, but it was either that or container ships. So I wasn't sure. You flying them?
Well, I'm working on that. So
he's working on his license.
Yeah. But no, I think you work at getting better at what you do.
Okay.
And you're always looking at, okay, what can we do different? And these guys are great at that. They're always looking to, what's next.
Yep.
Whether it be from the IT perspective to how we look at things, how we see things. So you're always looking to get better at what you do. You never stop doing that. But as far as new things coming out, I mean, we're looking on the international side, doing more and more.
Yep.
We do a lot now in and out of Mexico.
Okay.
We're intra Mexico, we're inter Mexico. So, we want to get strength there and build more there. But I think you look for the next opportunity, but you keep gaining and keep getting better at what you're doing now.
Okay.
I'll let Chad talk some more.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I mean, just kind of piggybacking off what he said there about international. And another key to it is communication and networking.
100%.
Being at a conference like this, we connect with, a lot of different companies, and whether it's IT or trucking or manufacturing, communication, information information is great.
Yeah.
And, it's just like what he was keying on, a couple of things. we tell customers, we've been telling customers 2 or 3 months. I mean, actually months ago about the international, like the strikes that could be possibly happening.
Yeah.
That's been averted so far on the international, on the Canadian rail and different things like that. So, and it's just a network that we have actually internationally. And Todd's brought a lot of value to the company in that market as well.
That's awesome. And one of the things that I've talked about just most recently with Brent Hutto of Truck Stop and I've talked to a lot of people, is that, a lot of brokers are waiting for the pendulum to kind of shift again ever since we've kind of hit the new normal after COVID. And one of the things he said was, I don't know that it's going to shift. It's going to swing back, for the next 6 months. What, you've diversified, you've offered kind of a better suite, and you have the relationship. What does another broker or carrier do? What do you see that somebody could do to stay relevant, stay profitable, or stay in business when they don't have the ideal conditions that they used to even 2 years ago?
It's tough. I mean, I think you've got a lot of, other brokers we consider, it's somewhat of a competition.
Sure.
Or our competition. But, you see a lot of things that, as far as giving them advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know not the secret sauce, but from
I don't know, but
from a trend perspective, how do you, I guess the better question, so you don't share secrets or your insight, is where do you see things going? Do you agree with that pendulum isn't coming back down, or what does that look like from the TMCO, Sneed, Tony, Chad side?
No, I mean, we definitely see it. I mean, we do, from the truckload brokerage side, we've got so many of our loads are connected to our current customers, which we do their LTL, we do warehousing, we do, truckload, but a lot of our stuff is dedicated milk run type scenarios.
Yeah.
So, we have been affected, especially in the automotive industry. I think we are seeing probably, anywhere from 20 to 23% reduction, depending on the customer.
Good time to be a car buyer.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's one of those, I don't want to say survival mode because, I mean, normally we add so much and we're always in continued growth.
Right.
But it's through the diversity. And if you're not diverse like that, but I think internally it's taking a look of how you're doing things. Don't always be, these guys that we're competing against, it's always, being the lowest cost.
Right.
And you're always throwing prices out that sometimes maybe that you can't, make happen.
Right.
And I think that's where they run into trouble because it gives you a bad name onto that. But, and we don't get me wrong, we're not perfect. Right. I mean, we struggle some, but we work so hard at sourcing and finding needs and seeing where maybe we do some load consolidation. We do some, partial truckloads.
Yeah.
There's always different avenues of different ways of looking at things.
Kind of flexibility and adapt to the need.
You have to build that in. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I guess one thing for, all of us brokers is that we need to take care of these independent carriers.
Yeah.
We need to, we have relationships with them because that percentage of trucking is, it's depleting. All the old truckers are, basically
starting to hang up there,
fading out, and we need more new people to have interest in trucking and transportation. And I think that whether it's through the ATA, American Trucking Association, or through the independent drivers associations or whatever, I think all of us needs to have good relationships with all of our trucking companies. And, it's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
It's a two-way street. And we would rather be a little higher, but have dependable services.
Hey, that's very well said. Tony and Chad, thank you so much today. Yep, and for anybody listening, relationships is the name of the game. Diversify where you can and, use technology to make good decisions. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And for everyone watching, stay tuned. We'll have more with Banyan's Tire Tracks podcast.